Hey everybody, good to see you back here on Animaniacs with your two favorite anime maniacs, me, Siege, my man Allegreto. How you doing, man? What's going on with you?
I'm doing all right. Getting it this fall weather, getting ready for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So everybody, we appreciate y'all listening to the first show. We, had a schedule snafu with the last week, so we coming back with y'all with an action-packed, literally show today. We're gonna get this bad boy rolling for y'all. Uh, so I wanted to start off today just revisiting a few things from last show. I wanted to say, man, you was dead on about Shinji's dad in Evangelion, bro. He came out the gate on some trash, bro. I'm like, I'm like, bro, this dude crazy, man. He's telling his son basically, you gonna do what I say or else type stuff, man. Like I'm like, oh yeah, he wilding. So, so
I told you.
I'm talking about from the first episode on. I was like, yeah, I got to come back on this show until to Allegretto, bro. He was right about that because he was wilding. So you're definitely right. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the other culprit, but I wanted to come back and say that Muzan was is pretty evil too, but for a little bit of a different reason because he just straight cutthroat. But we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. That entire
Right.
show, Demon Slayer, a little bit later. So I just wanted to touch on those two things before we even got kicked off. Just a few revisions to the evil that we were talking about last time. Man, them dudes is crazy, man. But especially Shinji's dad, man. I ain't even saying his name. He don't deserve it, bro. But yeah, so all right. So speaking of the Evangelion, man, we wanted to go ahead and dive into influential shows and just kind of have a discussion about influential shows and why so influential. And I'm gonna let you kick that off, man.
Alrighty, all right. Um, I'm gonna definitely jump off with Evangelion. I'm a big stand for it. It's one of my favorite. Like if I ever have a top five, it's in there regardless. Like no matter what I'm watching. And the reason I say that is because you have to watch it several times to catch everything that was going on in there. Like you'll see a scene and think like, what the heck was that? That why they show that? And then you watch it a couple more times or watch it again and you come back and like, oh, that's what they meant. That's what was really going on. And some of the stuff like you really have to go online and Google what happened in this scene or what did this mean. But the main reason why I say that it's impactful is because it talked about subjects that nobody, I would say, in that whole community was even thinking about at the time. It was more like it was about mental illness and um, family and your connections with people and people just doing just crazy messed up stuff to each other, but they still have to deal with each other in the midst of a worldwide what's the word I'm thinking for, a worldwide crisis, I should say. um, but yeah, definitely that's definitely at the top of the list. um, let's see here, and then uh, let's see here, Akira. Like I said, that is just the genesis, the first book. Like it set the bar so high, and even now it's stuff that can't even touch it. Just the animation, the music, the style. Like it really started with that kind of like almost steampunk or cyberpunk Tokyo futurism type of thing. And like I said, it's to this day it's still stuff that cannot even get close to where it's at. So that's the actual standard for me by which judge anything that came after it. Um, and then I know it's going, One Piece, that's self-explanatory. Like it's lasted so long, the story's good, the animation good. Um, and I'm just now starting it, but I know just because I was there when it first started. Um, let's see, Attack on Titan. You thinking it's gonna be something something nice, and it just take a sharp left turn, a sharp right turn. It's all over the place with the craziness, and then they got some honestly funny moments to it too. And then I'll say Sailor Moon, just because of how original it was. And like it was just something that was influential, just period. Like you still see stuff today, and you had a lot of stuff that came right after it, like Card Captor Secure, and other things that kind of like you need to tell that they bones or their DNA or their influence was basically Sailor Moon, and stuff like that. Um, Comet got killed. I don't know if a lot of people was familiar with that, but just that because they just didn't give a fuck. Like, because like by the end of that, it was just a whole, it was just a shitstorm. And towards the end of that, I don't want to spoil it, but I mean, what it is the podcast of spoilers, but pretty much the reason why I say that one was impactful because that was one of the first ones I seen where just pretty much everybody died. Like it was just straight wreck. Like wasn't no being nice about it. They was just getting murked left and right. The main characters. And
Yeah,
that just took me that I had to take a couple of days to just process what I had just seen.
yeah,
And then
facts.
yeah. And then my hero, and not for the reasons that the main reason for me is not, but not because of what most people would think. I don't think it was because that's something that's able for what it is to pull some emotions out of you as you watching it. I don't know how they do it, but when Sir Night Eye died, I was crying. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was in tears. I'm
Yeah,
39 years old, and I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't even. I was in there. I was sitting there just in tears because it was so sad. So something like that is supposed to be so lighthearted and just about action and the setting that it's in for it to be able to pull those type of emotions out of you. I definitely got to put that in there in the list as far as something that's super impactful that's gonna last. It's gonna last forever, no matter how far we get from it. Um, then they got this one Steins Gate. I don't know if you know about that. If you ever seen it,
I haven't seen that one now.
I definitely recommend. You want to watch something that's just weird and you just be like, I don't understand it, but I know what's going on because it got some weird concept to it. Like this dude somehow figure out how to turn a microwave into a time machine, and the way that the right exactly. So the way that the time travel worked is weird. It's like he can send. I think at first he was sending text messages to himself to the past or from the like back and forth to itself in the past using the micro. It was weird, but I'm gonna have to watch it again. But it was just the a sci-fi that I had never seen before, and it's just how they kind of like based it in like reality.
Right.
Like it was just something that was like you could see like okay, even though I know this is straight up some made up BS, time travel BS, they based it in like real world, like they made it seem like it's something that could actually happen. And then FLCL or otherwise known as Fooly Cooley that, and that's just because of the music. I mean, everything on there was a banger. So I
Yeah,
that
they
that
had pretty good music there. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you.
yeah. So that one just came out of nowhere, and I was just like, oh yeah, that music hit. I ain't gonna hold you. The music was crazy. Like I actually back then I bought the soundtrack. I mean, I ain't got it now, but I bought the soundtrack back then when it first came out. Let's see here, but yeah, that's just just off the top of my head. That's I'll say like some of the most impactful anime in my book. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that covers everything I got.
I agree with you on all of the ones that you seen that saw, like One Piece, for instance. Like you said, that's self-explanatory. I think the thing that One Piece does well is like it's lighthearted. You know what I'm saying? It's adventure. You know what I mean? Like it's adventure.
Right.
The world is it's not an infinite world because they have specific islands. Of course, they was going to, as you see. That's they going through the islands island by island. but also, it's just like lighthearted, like I said, and then you see when it's time to get serious, like the switch between animation as the technology progresses throughout One Piece. Because at first they was using one animation style because it was the
Right.
'90s, and
Right.
then now you watch it now, and it's just like, as soon as the fight gets serious, it's like super serious. Like, I mean, it's super sweet. You know what I'm saying, in terms of the
Right.
animation that's going on. So I would say that, obviously that. I mean, Dragon Ball Z, of course. I mean, we're gonna talk about favorite fights in a minute, and I think one of the most impactful fights in anime history happens on Dragon Ball Z. Uh, I mean, you could walk into a bar somewhere and be like, I'm about to go Super Saiyan. Somebody gonna know what you mean in that mug, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's that show just impactful just because of obvious reasons, I should say.
It had one of the farthest reaches is any anime, like even people that don't watch it.
Yeah, it's like it's just like, culture wise. I mean, if
Right.
we add if we adding or we adding, major shows, obviously I can't say influential shows without mentioning Pokemon. I mean, come on. I mean, that's just super duper. That's just super duper obvious. They got people playing Pokemon still now. Shoot, I do. So I ain't even gonna hold
Yeah.
you. So you know what I'm saying. So I mean, that is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and say the movies are that great, but the show, it is just second. It is second to some, second to very few. It's a real easy show to watch and just turn on, turn off, that type of thing. But the character, you just following this character around. Once he start traveling around, it's like, all right, I can't stop now. I gotta see if he wins. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of those. I mean, you got the hat to one of my favorite animes of all time on right now. Man, that show, outside of the filler episodes, which kind of messed me up because it's like, I mean, they all have something to do with the main story, but it's like, I feel like they wasted my time with those. Like after before he went to go fight, or after he got back from fighting Pain, it was like, I felt like it was a season of them just walking around the neighborhood, like getting it fixed up. Like, that was trash.
Right.
Like, get back to to the story. But outside of that, I think the storytelling and character development in that show was crazy.
Right.
Um, or just knowing where the villages come from, some corny parts, but whatever.
Yeah.
That is what it is. My hero, I'm gonna mention my hero too, for a different reason than you did. I agree with what you said, but for a different reason. It's the only show where mostly everybody in the show is souped up, right? They all got
Right.
power. They all got powers or had the potential to be souped up. But they do a great job of telling each individual. I mean, the story is about Deku, obviously. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But how he became the greatest hero. So we know what's gonna happen already. But the way that they tell the story and how they get you involved into the story, I think that's why it get them emotions, because it's like you learn about all these different characters and how they impact the I can't even remember what they call their school, but but the hero school or whatever, how they impact it, and then it's like, oh, like, they got me in. You know what I'm saying? Now I feel like you know the characters. You know what I mean? Um, so I would say those, of course, and then just going a little bit further back too. Cowboy Bebop to me was one of those, like, just one of those. It's hard to describe Cowboy Bebop in terms of why it's influential, but it's like it did so many things right to me to be that type of show. You know what I mean?
Right.
That investigative anime type show. You know what I mean? Uh, so I got to bring that one up, just for that reason. And then mainly a lot of the shows, all of the other shows, kind of pick and choose parts of these type of animes and kind of like mold their, what I'm saying, mold their anime a little bit different, but they take some of the things that I like from these anime. So I would say, well, My Hero is relatively new in terms of anime. So
Right.
not that one. I'm not saying that one is borrowed from, but I'm pretty sure it will be, because Storytelling in that is storytelling in that is great. Sailor Moon too. I gotta agree with you on that because that was one of the first shows that I seen. All right, so you know how in a lot of the anime show or not anime shows, but a lot of the superhero shows, how when they put their costumes on or whatever, they
Yeah.
gotta come down and all that. But before that, in anime is like Samurai Troopers or
Right.
those type of shows. It was kind of like that, like they did it. Voltron and all those other cartoons, or whatever you want to call them, however you want to classify them. They had something similar to that, but that was the first one where it was kind of like flashy though.
Right.
Then after that, you see all of these flashy transformations and bright colors and all of that stuff. So I was like, yeah, I see what they did there, because that used to come
Yeah.
on. They used to come on, and we used to be like, hey, you got to cut this on. Like all
Yeah,
these shows
like
about to
that.
come on back to back. So yeah,
Yeah, I would say right there with Sailor Moon, if for what you talking about, Card Captor Sakura.
hmm
Throw that in
yeah,
there with it because they was about just as flashy. I
yeah,
said that probably had the biggest influence from Sailor Moon. One of the shows that had the biggest influence from there.
yeah. Then Akira, you spot on with that. I think that just the way that the timing in that anime is just perfect. Like how they build it up to story. They get just outside playing and then boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying?
The
It's
bike
just perfect
chase,
build up. The bike chase was cold.
but when he came down with that pole, I'm like, ooh, I turned away.
Yeah, and
That
as
was
soon
wild.
as, as soon as he came back down though, and he got them powers, it was on. It was like it was straight action. But they never deviated from what the characters meant to the show, like you know what I mean, or to the movie or whatever. But they didn't. They
Right,
never
right,
deviated from the main thing. You know what I'm saying? So I like that about that. It was just straight build up, build up. Oh, now we here. We got to figure this out. Like, and it wasn't nothing crazy, outlandish that happened. Like it didn't. It wasn't like they made up something new just to satisfy the ending. It was like it was all in the story, which
right.
some animes that we discussed, it is kind of those things that they just make. Some of them have things where they just make up something at the end. You be like, how do you get up? All right, like, all right, you know what I mean? So that it did. Another one that I really really like, and I talked about it a little bit before we got on here, was Sword Art Online. I kind of like that. It's not the first of its kind in terms of being trapped in a video game. Obviously, Digimon was kind of like getting trapped in a digital world. Other animes tried, have done that and successfully have done that. I think the one thing they did is better than most of those shows, or if not all of them, is built the anime around the functionality of the functionality of the game world.
Right,
So I was like, wow, like they did a good job of building a world and making it functional for the sake of the anime. You know what I mean?
right,
So I
right,
thought that was just, I mean, it was creative for one, but I think they took that gaming, get trapped in video games, get trapped in the digital world to the next level. So those would be
right,
some of
right,
mine. Those would be some of mine. I think Inuyasha did a good job of telling our story too, but it's more of an honorable mention in terms of influentials. They did try to do the opera
right.
thing or whatever, which was cool. It was cool, but it could have some of the things it could have been better. But that's just nitpicking.
I mean, it was good, but it was more of a product of the time.
Yeah,
Kind of like what's that one? I feel is it a game or because it's made by the same person that made that. What's it called? Ranma one half or something like that. Because the characters look dang near exactly the same.
yeah. I'm trying to think of what that's called. You got the name almost right though, but I
I
can't think of
think
what it's
that's what it's
called.
called.
Yeah, that might be what it's called.
Because
But yeah, I know
Inuyasha
what
is
you're
more
talking
of a
about.
love story than anything. That's more, but I mean, it's still good though.
Yeah, it's good. It did its job for what it was, and it got me, got me captivated or whatever into the show. And like I said, that Narako was one of my evil villains, but that dude was just he was taking everybody down to get what he wanted. But
He was
just
not
I don't
playing.
know. Yeah, he wasn't playing, but it is what it is, man. And I don't think that was as influential of an anime as some of
Right.
the other ones. You know what I mean?
It was influential in its own little pocket of people that like, those types where it got action or whatever and this that. But like I said, the main thing was, oh, him. What is he gonna get with Kagome? Do he love her and all this stuff? I think that was the main thing, and I think that was one of the first ones where shipping was a was a whole thing. Because I know people talked about that a lot, like, oh, they need to be together and this, that, and the third. But I'm like, I didn't care about that. I can't even see the fights. I'm sorry.
Right. I used to love, like, I like stories and development and how you develop characters and seeing where the characters go and stuff like that. But if I had to choose, I would always choose a story, a good story over more action. But
Right,
if the action is like Akira action, like it's perfectly played, I got to go with that type of show. Like I can't just, like, you can have a story all day, but you got to be able to keep us engaged in the in the
right,
story. Because I would say I always want to say Full Metal Alchemist. That's an influential anime too. Full Metal Alchemist
yeah,
Brotherhood, but or just a great anime if not influential. But Full Metal Panic. I mentioned that briefly last show because it's not an action-packed show. It's kind of like
right,
a relationship show between the main character and or the two main characters. Going to this high school or whatever. He just so happened to be a mech pilot. So it's like
right,
you. So it's like that anime. It was just a good anime. Like it didn't have
right,
much fighting going on. So that was a good example. That's a good example for people watching if you want to see something that's not action packed that's still good. That would be it. But it's
right,
not a lot of those for me out there.
right.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and on the flip side of that, there's some that got decent action, but the story just trash. You know, I can't name
yeah,
them because they forgettable. But you see some, oh, they got them decent fights or whatever, or this, that, and the third. But then it's like, what about the story though? It's some cookie cutter BS. But I agree with you
yeah,
totally. Like, if the story good enough to keep you, latched on or sucked in, I ain't complaining. Shoot,
yeah. Me either. If it's just good enough to get me there and you got the action, cool. But if you the best ones, you just meld them together. I can give you an example of one that's kind of like that for me. They got a decent enough story, but the action is better overall, at least right now, than the story is Fairy Tale. Like it's just one of them. It's one of them shows where it's like, why are we at the fairy games, bro? Like, you need to like, let's go.
I
Like,
don't know. It's like
I want to see what happened to the dragons, man. I don't want to be going through all, but the
I could,
action is
I
good
could.
enough for it to keep me there, man.
Even I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I guess we just gonna have to bump heads on that because I ain't like Fairy Tale. I'll be honest with you. I ain't like
Yeah,
it. It's like they tried to do Black Clover before Black Clover came out, but it's like Black Clover did Fairy Tale the way it should have been done. Like you could
yeah,
tell, like Fairy Tale was strongly geared towards the younger crowd.
yeah. That's true. That is true. That might be why it's the fall off for me because it's just don't. It's not like the other ones. Even like One Piece, for instance, it has that lightheartedness or whatever, but it's the story is just so good. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
What was
even
that
even
other
then
one?
earlier on, even that earlier on, you know what I'm saying? You could kind of tell, like, all right, some of this stuff is geared
I
towards keeping
know.
the kids, but
Yeah,
it's
like I
good
know
though.
what this about to be like. I mean, it
Yeah,
is, but
one
I don't. The little bit of time that I have, I don't want to commit a lot of it to that. You feel me?
right.
But what was the other one? I think it was something that came before it that had, like the little snow looking dude with the cone nose and the cat. It was another one that had those same characters in it. I think it came before them.
Oh, dang, man. I know what you're talking about too. I can see it. I can see it.
I'm trying to think. I'm about to look it up. Screw it. Let's see
Cone
here.
nose and a cat.
Because it was on some. He was on. It was on some other. Uh,
I know the
you know,
cat.
some.
I know a cat and the cone nose, and it's a cone nose thing in Fairy Tale.
Because I think they did something before then. Now I
I
ain't gonna
can't
lie
think
to
of.
you. Old girl with the armor was pretty decent on there.
Yeah, and like I said, it's pretty cool things about the show. It's just not up to that level. Like the storyline is not as great, and maybe it's not even the story. Maybe, like you said, it's just you could tell it's kind of geared. But it's a good anime. It's not great to me, but it's good.
I disagree, but we'll say
Yeah,
that for another
yeah,
for
yeah. For
another
another
episode.
episode. Yeah, I can tell you one thing. On our next topic, where we talk about these fights, I don't have any fairy tale fights on there, so don't be you don't gotta worry
I,
about that.
yeah, I definitely would have been definitely would have been going at it on that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
trying to think what was that what was it, man? What was it's gonna bother me till I figure it out, but you go ahead while I try to, look it up in the background.
what you think about what you think about Kenshin?
Ronnie Kenshin.
Yeah, what did you think about that anime? That's another one
I
of those
liked
that
it.
has marginal action, but it's like you said for the time it was. That's one that I kind of liked, but when I watched it a little bit later, I'm like, I could wait and finish something
Right.
else and then come back
Yeah,
to it.
it was decent. It was pretty decent. I liked it. I don't remember because I only watched it once.
Yeah. Oh, I know one thing about influence that we didn't talk about that you kind of brought up last show. You was talking about Evangelion and how it had copycats. Um, Full Metal Panic is one of those shows that I could tell, and I maybe I can't tell, but I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody who made the show, but this is just me speculating. That's one of those shows that looks like it could have had its influence by Evangelion in terms of
Right.
the way that it's drawn and mech design, that kind of thing. So
Right.
that was
Right.
a so that's a
I got it.
to your point.
Right. 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 I can go in on some you know that was biting off of it, but yeah, I just found it. Rave Master. Remember that?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Now, see, I liked Rave Master. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't don't really care for Fairy Tale. And it said Eden Zero, which I haven't watched. I know what that is, and then Gintama.
Okay.
But Rave
I
Master
haven't
was the
watched
one.
Gintama.
It's kind of Gintama is kind of like a funny version of Rurouni Kenshin,
Ah, gotcha, gotcha.
but it's decent. It's decent. What was the? It was another one I wanted to. Okay, yeah, you talking about shows that was biting off of Evangelion. They had one that came out. I want to say 2005. It was called Razafine. They tried so hard to bite off of Evangelion, bro. And it was good, but it was like you could tell like they trying. It's like, let's say you make um a Spider-Man movie, right? Let's say you make a Spider-Man movie and it's hot. Then next thing you know, some random ass production company make a a movie called Tarantula Guy. You know what I'm saying? That's that's
Hey, that's wild.
that's what it
hey,
was.
hey, he
But
crazy man. He said, I'm typing that in because I'm gonna have to watch that, bro.
but it got its own decent concepts and stuff in. But it was just like you could tell they was just like, okay, we about to just straight up copy everything Evangelion, but the heart, and they were just doing it just to do it. But the guy that created Evangelion, he knew, you know, you could tell he was a dude that had the similar kinds of things going on in his life to be able to make it and be as honest with it about it. Like, I'm gonna spoil it for you. Like towards the last couple of episodes, like so you got to the part where he met Oscar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so she get beat down pretty bad, so she in the hospital, right? I think it was her. It was either her or Ray, and it's to like literally like the last second before last episode or somewhere close to it. So he the only one that can fight. Ray pretty much done disappeared or whatever, and it was either Ray or Shin or Oscar, but basically one of them was in the hospital just messed up, and you see the scene and he in the hospital room with her, and then they show her covers, and then he say, "I'm such a monster," and that's it.
Ah,
But then when you
ah.
go back and look at it again, you like, what's that white stuff on the sheet? So he basically just worked one out while she was in the hospital bed.
Right.
He
Wow.
just he choked the chicken on her and just was like right on the covers because I guess like her clothes fell off or something. Uh, and he was just like, but in the midst of all this stuff going on, he had the messed up kind of mentality to sit there and do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he didn't like rape her or nothing, but it was just like he was in there just visiting her and like I guess like her shirt or something fell off and he was like, oh, but they all, they was all dealing with shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you said, you seen how fucked up it was in there in
Yeah,
nerves.
they
So
was wow.
and then so he had to release that stress. Shoot.
Man, my man
But
should have
yeah,
waited
that
till he got home though. Not in the hospital,
hey.
my dog. And not while she not right there with her, bro. Like, come on, bro. That was weird.
I mean he was a perv though.
That's true. That
Yeah,
is
but
true.
like I said, but Raza found like you could tell there's like, oh, we about to make it gritty and it's gonna be real and people gonna die and he got mental issues and it's like you could tell like bro, like you could have just did whatever and it still would have been cool because the mecha designs and everything was sweet, but it was just like, bro, like y'all doing too much, bro. As far as like trying too hard to be something that y'all not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think some of the shows too were influenced by like smaller things too, like how Dragon Ball Z, how they do power up in Dragon Ball Z. Like you see
Right,
so many shows like change up and try to like do something similar where they standing there with the power of the key around them or
right.
whatever, the ground coming up off them, like that type of stuff. I think that's another reason why One Piece was pretty cool too, because it kind of I mean, I know some shows have, but they kind of deviated away from that in terms of not sitting there powering up, but they gave us a new kind of system, like the hockey.
Right,
I guess not a system, but hockey. You know what I'm saying? And then certain different kinds of hockey you could use and not versus sitting there
right.
in a hyperbolic chamber, which is still good. But like I said, so many shows did it after Dragon Ball Z. Like,
Exactly. But the thing about One Piece is, dude had the story already planned out beforehand, so he dropped little nuggets from the first couple episodes. Is what I'm finding out. Because I'm one of them people like I'll go further ahead, read up some stuff, and go, let me go back and see that. Let me go back and watch, see if I can catch that little Easter egg he put in there. Because apparently, like on the first couple episodes, was it Shanks that was with him with the red hair, the one that
uh,
lost his
uh
arm?
yep,
That was Shanks when he saved Luffy from the Sea King or whatever. That was a hockey. Wasn't that
hmm
Conqueror's hockey or something like that?
yeah, yep. Color of the Supreme King.
Yeah. So, but they never mentioned it after the fact. But here you have what would take about 10, 15 out of the 50 years it's been running. Then they actually bring it up.
Yeah,
So that's what I said. That's like you said. That's why it's one of the most impactful of all time, which is probably still gonna be going when we old and sitting in a nursing home.
yeah. Eventually, he gonna have to get the One Piece though. Eventually,
Exactly.
eventually he gonna
Exactly.
have to get it and become the king of the pirates, and then they'll probably tell a different story.
Right.
But yeah, man, you're right about that. And it's crazy though because I was wondering when we would get to see him, because when Shanks gave him the hat, I know you've seen this already because you told me you was in episode 300 or something, so you had to see this already. When he obviously gave him the hat earlier on, when he gave him the hat, he told him, you know, basically bring it back to me type stuff.
Right.
And, if you want to be the king of the pirates, you gonna have to bring it back. He's basically saying, "Hey, I'm one of the four emperors, bro. You gonna have to see me. You have to see me if you want to." You know what I'm saying? So, so now, he fighting Kaido. Or going,
Right.
well, it actually ended. That Wano Kuni is done.
Yeah.
So after that, it's like, what's next? You know what I'm saying? So where is he gonna go next? Now they talking about he might go to Ilboff and they might tell the story of the Giants with Usopp. And I know
Hmm.
you probably seen the Giants already too. but
Nope.
or some of them. You ain't seen that
Yeah,
one
probably
giant yet.
seen them. I probably seen some, but I haven't. They haven't. From what I've seen, I haven't seen much about them in the show. But I know I've seen them in the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so those giants in the show, it's like they gonna like tell bits and pieces throughout the thing about the different islands, like Ohana that got that they took the books from and all that stuff,
Right.
which that has some historical significance. They just kind of
I
eased it
got
in there.
problems. I got problems with that. With just the way that whole aspect of it. Like, I want to know what happened in the Void Century, man. The Void, era. I want to know what was going on back then. Was so that they had to do so much to keep people from knowing about it. Like, cause I'm like, damn, they killing all them people because they don't want nobody to know about it. 'Cause I rewatched the episodes with when they're doing a flashback for Nico Robin,
Yep.
and I'm like, damn, like they just and then they won't he won't say why, and that's what keep me watching. Like, I need to find out.
Yeah, and it's getting to that point too. Like they telling you bits and pieces as you go along, bits and pieces. Even now, you don't know. I mean, you don't know even now, like everything that happened. But then they start telling you a little bit about Joey Boy because he went to Gear 5,
Yeah,
and the way he fought, that's what they calling him. Or Nika the Sun God is what they
right, right,
call his devil fruit or whatever. But like you said, one of the most influential animes because you could tell it's well thought and planned out. Like,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Well thought and planned out.
Yeah, I think
I
towards the
forgot to.
end.
Oh
Go
my bad. I
ahead.
was gonna say I forgot to mention too another show that did similar power ups to Dragon Ball Z, and it might be around the same time. I know it's around the same time. Was Fist of the North Star, so I got to give them credit, even though they had more of a Mad Max dystopian kung fu
Right.
vibe. Like, so I
I
got
have
to
to
get them.
rewatch that.
Got to get them their credit too. That was one of those shows where they kind of had something similar. Like I said, I know other shows had something similar, but I think the popularity of Dragon Ball Z just took it to a whole nother level. But
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
got to fit to the North Star credit though.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have to rewatch it, but I ain't watched that since it came out. Like, I remember getting the VHSs from Suncoast at the mall.
Yeah, facts, facts, facts,
But yeah,
facts.
I can't for One Piece. I think he gonna just towards the end. I hope and pray towards the end he opened the floodgates and just explained some of this stuff. Because I'd be like, they probably can write books, or maybe he'll end it and it just be like books and little things here and there explaining the lore and whatnot. Because yeah,
Yeah,
he built a
they
decent
definitely
world.
going to. They definitely
Yeah.
going to because they said already that the poneglyphs that she can read or whatever, the poneglyphs that she can read, tell the story. So that
Okay.
when they get the laugh tale finally, they'll know the whole thing.
But didn't one of them get destroyed?
The poneglyphs.
One that she didn't even know exists. Like, something that happened before. I think either before they met her or something like happened. Like, she wasn't there, and one of the poneglyphs either got lost or destroyed.
I don't remember if it got lost. I know that they said. I know that they said. I can't even think of the island's name with the
Go
animal,
to
with the not the animal part, but Zunisha, the big elephant. They had one on
right,
there. I think Kaido. I think Kaido was in control of two of them. I think he had. It was one on Zunisha, and then I think he had.
right,
Oh no, he had one, and then Big Mom had one.
right.
I can't remember.
Mm,
I can't remember, man. If it was
okay.
destroyed, or I can't
I
remember if it
know.
was
Yeah.
destroyed.
Well, it say they indestructible. See here.
Fishman Island had one, I think. Or nah, the Fishman. He didn't read one on. She didn't read one on Fishman Island.
Because I'm trying to find
It
which.
was Big Mom's island. They read
Yes.
that. That
Okay.
she
So it
read that
said
on.
the last road poneglyph was in Fishman Island. It went missing.
Okay, yeah, okay. So that's why I'm thinking there was one in Fishman Island. So all right, cool.
Huh. Well, I
Oh,
could.
and that's what they was talking about with I can't even think of what they call her, the mermaid princess or whatever. She could talk to the sea kings.
Mm-hmm.
That might
See, it
uh, that
said
might that might bring that poneglyph back in the future. Hopefully.
okay. Because they said there's 30 of them, and only 14 of them have shown up in the series, and it said four of them combined for to form the road poneglyph, which is tell where the location of Laugh Tale is. and then it
Yeah,
said
I
another
think they
9.
read two of them already, if I ain't
Right.
mistaken. Two of the
See,
road
that's
ones, anyway.
and that's the thing. Like, look how we talking about it. Like, I'm over here like, bro, I need to find out. I
Yeah,
need to find out.
because it's like it's so long. The series is so long, bro. It's like when you going through it. One, it's hard to keep remember how everything was placed out. And of course, on the next show, we can revisit it to be like, oh yeah, let's clean this up a little bit. But I definitely want to know what happened in the void years, bro. Like what? Y'all
Yeah,
going
cause I'm man, cause I want to find out.
Yeah, I definitely want to find out what happened. I'm gonna find out. Unless they drag
Shoot,
it on another 50 years and I ain't here, but
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
man,
it's killing me.
hey. I definitely want to know. They give you some ideas though, like some speculation or whatever. That's kind of why I was thinking that they might go to visit the Giants or whatever, or have one of those one of those just development kind of parts to the series where
Right.
they go to that island and figure out a little bit more about them because they was there before, and
Hmm.
you'll figure that out. You're not quite there yet, but they it's a part where they visit the Giants, and then that's basically like a Usopp part of the story.
Okay.
But when you get there, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, so you learn a little bit about them, but we'll see if they able to go back or do anything with that or whatever. But that's just
Right.
speculation. I read something online too that they said that they were speculating about the same thing. So who knows?
Okay. Okay. I'm ready for it. Shoot.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, but moving off of the influential shows, man, because we can go on influential shows all day, and don't worry, people listening. We know that everything that we saying is not like some of this is speculation because we don't know, or we just don't have the notes in front of us in terms of like the shows and what those shows is about. So that's what the first part of the show is, revisiting the last show. So if there's something else that we missed, that we speculated on, that we messed up or something, then we're gonna touch it next show.
Well, whether or not we messed up, yeah, and some of that stuff, considering, well, what we call influential shows is a matter of opinion too. But I get what you're saying. Like, if we got some facts wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I'm sitting here thinking like I had said, nah, there was one on Fishman Island, but it wasn't because it went missing. So stuff like that. If I
Right.
missed something, you know what I'm saying, then we'll come back and let y'all know. But
Right.
stick with
Right.
us, man. We gonna keep it real with y'all. Don't come at
Yes,
us about
sir.
our influential shows, because that's nah, I mean, come on,
Fight me.
man. Y'all know we right.
I said I'm gonna die on my heels. Shoot,
Hey, facts. Yeah, I challenge anybody to say anything about
boy.
most of the shows. Like I said, I didn't say a Fist of the North Star just from omission, but yeah, that was a great show to me.
Right.
But anyway, so from the influential shows on to the favorite fights, it was kind of hard not to broach this subject, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie, when we was talking about influential shows, but it's a lot of fights, bro. Like it's so many battles on these anime shows. So I'm gonna let you just say a few, bro, and then I will add a few, and we could just make it a discussion, I guess, or you could name one, and we could just agree or
Okay.
disagree, or what.
I'm a run through the list and then because like you said, we could sit here just from freaking the early '80s up until now and
Man,
just pick. And it's stuff that I haven't even seen. Like I haven't seen um what's that one called? I don't even remember what it's called, but it's one that's real popular. It got the chick with the she got armor on, and it's on Netflix right now. I just forgot what it was called. I think I watched like a little tiny bit of it. It's real popular though. I can't for the life of me
I
remember what
can't
it's
think of
called.
it either because I probably
It's
haven't. I watched it yet.
Fate, the Fate series.
Oh yeah, I watched Fate. Yeah, I seen Fate.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I heard they got some bangers in there for us fights,
yeah, they
but
do.
I haven't seen it.
Especially the first one I can't even think his name, the
So,
Babylonian king.
see, I don't even know
Anyway,
what order to watch it because there's so many of them. But I digress.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's go down the list, and this is not in order of how much, not in any particular order. It's just as I remembered them. Um, Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki.
Oh
The
yeah, that was cold.
Not the movie version, but the Boruto version,
The Bruto
because
version, yeah.
that's way better. That held that whole summer down when that episode came out.
Yeah, and I gotta agree with you. I gotta agree with you on that. Not the movie version, the actual show version. That show version was crazy. But go ahead, man. My man. I
Yeah,
didn't even put
yeah, I
that
know
on
you
my
right.
list.
You right. The movie version was cold, but when I seen it, I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna rehash, and then I'm like, oh shit, it was in the motherfucker hype. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I watch every time I see it on my YouTube feed. I watch it like it's a banger. Um, and then One Punch Man versus Boros.
Yeah, that was a good fight too. I didn't add that on my
Uh,
list either though.
that's a banger. One Punch Man versus Genos when they
Yeah,
was
that was a good
sparring in the
fight too.
mountains.
And they were sparring, yeah.
Yeah. That's how I got introduced to One Punch Man. I happened to see it on my YouTube feed. I'm like, what's this? It look like it's something. I'm like, oh, and it was in 60 FPS and all that HD. I said, oh yeah, I was drooling. That was a banger. Um, Goku versus Jiren.
Oh yeah,
And
that was
Goku
top
versus
tier.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then Goku versus Beerus,
Oh yeah.
the movie version, the movie fight when he first, you know what I'm saying, when he first got Super Saiyan, you know what I'm saying, Super Saiyan God mode. Um, and this is from Evangelion, the Ava Unit 2 versus the mass production series. You can
Can't wait
find
to
that
get there.
online. Oh yeah, you gonna like it. It's in the movie though. It's not on the cartoon, so you gotta watch the end of Evangelion to see it. But that's a banger. Um, every fight in the Thousand Year Blood War arc and Bleach.
Oh yeah, they ain't
Just
missed yet.
yeah,
They ain't
they
missed
ain't
yet.
yeah, they head was hitting on everyone. So Levi versus everybody on Attack on Titan. Just any Levi fights on there is bangers. And then pretty much everything in Jujutsu Kaisen, but more notably Yuji and Toto versus Hanami. That was a that was a banger for me. But yeah, that's my list right there. If you want to pick something that stood out to you or whatever.
Levi, I didn't even think about Attack on Titan. That Levi fight when his I don't know if it was his old mentor. I
Yeah,
can't think of his name. Came and got him with when they had the guns and stuff. Bruh, that I could rewatch
that
that. That was fire, man. Like
was
I
tough.
watched that literally twice before I moved on because I'm like it was just that part of the series was amazing. I ain't even gonna lie. Levi do be
Yeah.
running fades with everybody though, but
When he busted down the
that
Beast
specific
Titan.
fight, that specific fight was crazy. I was like,
Is you
man, that's
talking about the one where the cats when they first come in with they 3D maneuver gear and he fought him in the bar, he slid in the bar, hopped around on the other side of the counter.
yep. That's the exact what I'm talking about. That fight was cold. I ain't gonna lie. That so Levi, I didn't even think about Attack on Titan in terms. I thought about the show, but I didn't think about Levi's specific fights. But yeah, that was a great fight. Um,
Yeah. But like I said,
so,
when I seen him, then when he busted down the Beast Titan, he wanted that man's neck. You know
facts.
what I'm saying? Regardless, I still haven't finished the series, but man, like everything, pretty much, a lot of them fights on there, besides just his, was banger. But when he step up, it's yeah,
Yeah, it's like the action of the show, and then the actual strategy of his fighting is just cold. Like the way they put it together. But that specific fight for Levi, that was just amazing for me. Um, And then then you said you got two Dragon Ball Z ones on there. The crazy thing is I knew that we would both have Dragon Ball Z ones on there. But I did not know that you was gonna go with the Resurrection F fight though. Like I didn't think you was gonna put Beerus on there. Because the crazy thing about Dragon Ball Z is it's actually so many fights that you could use. You know, from there. Like for instance, one of mine I put um, was when they fought Broly.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
when they fought Broly, I was like, bro, that Broly, was cold. I mean, when he fought Frieza, that was one of the most
Yeah.
influential fights. That was a good fight. Um, but I don't know, man. I was like, I'm shocked. I'm impressed, bro, that you added that on there. Especially the Levi thing, because I know that of course, y'all, we did talk about our list beforehand. I mean, we talked about one.
Right.
But nah, man, that's a great list, though. I ain't even gonna hold you. It's
Yeah.
nothing
For
on
me,
there.
it's like
There's nothing on there that I would disagree with, saying like, oh, it's I didn't add some of those on my list, but
right.
at the same time, hey, I'm going to be adding them to my list. Because that One Punch
Yeah.
Man fight too. Like One Punch Man is not on my list at all. But yeah, when they was part of the battles, that was cold. Even his first fight when he was daydreaming about having a competitive fight, and he
Yeah.
woke up and there was that little bug, like
The
that bug
mosquito.
dude. Yeah, the mosquito
Oh.
dude. Even that fight was sweet. Like,
I was crying laughing watching that episode. That's one hands down my favorite episode of One Punch Man. I ain't even gonna
yeah,
hold you.
man. So that's even that fight was sweet though. So it's like it's hard not to add One Punch Man, but I didn't add him to my list either. Um, so that in the Naruto or in Sosuke versus Momoshiki, that fight, I got I got some Naruto fights on mine too, but I didn't add that one. But that was a great fight. But you're right.
Yeah.
The movie version, I felt like they rushed it, like compressed it or whatever because of the movie time. But in the
Right.
show, the way they did it in the show, it was perfect. It was perfect. But
Yeah.
yeah, so my Naruto fights, and I'll be catching flack. My first one I got is Sakura versus Sasori, bro. That fight was so great to me, man. So I got that fight on there. I got and then I got Naruto and Pain. Naruto and Pain. I like that fight. Um, I like man, there's so many fights on there, bro. I can't even. I'm gonna just leave it at them two. Dragon Ball Z. I got. I told you I got the Broly and Goku. Broly when he came back though.
I haven't
Broly
seen
when
it.
he Broly when he came. Oh, you got to watch it, bro. Broly when he came back and he was on 1,000. The first one was good too, but he was on 1,000 when he came back. So I like that fight. And then see, Frieza was the most influential fight, so I'd be wanting to add that one. Yeah, I gotta add it because that's what got me into just keep watching it. And then and then oh I'm trying to think of who Piccolo was fighting. When in the movie, in the Dragon Ball Z superhero movie, when he was fighting number one and number two.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, you gotta watch that too. That fight is
I
cold
want
too.
to.
Yeah, it's crazy because they end up working it out in the end, but just the action in it and what was going on, I did like that or whatever. So that's one of my favorite fights in the Dragon Ball Z series too. And then I like the let me look at my notes, bro. Oh, I like the Baki Hana fight. I can't think of who Baki was fighting. Baki Hana got some good fights in there too. We got to check those out. Pretty much any of his fights. Bleach, I agree with you on every single fight on 1,000 Year Blood War, but my favorite is Kenpachi, bruh. Where the two Kenpachis was fighting, where he was fighting his mentor.
Oh, Unohana.
Man, he was fighting Unohana. I gotta bump that up. Like if I'm talking about favorites, I gotta bump that up because just the way, because that was a perfect blend of storytelling and action for me too. How she kept killing him or healing him or whatever to make him stronger and all that. Bro, that was sweet. That was sweet. So I gotta add that in there. And then I like the Demon Slayer fight with the Sound Ninja and it's the Sound Ninja.
The one with the little drums and shit, and he was doing all that when they was in that house.
That one and the one with the woman who had the shawl on or the kimono, not the shawl, the kimono. She had the kimono with the threads that came out of it.
Was that the what was it called?
When dude was
Right after the Mugen train. When they
yeah,
went to the not the Sword Art. I think it was Entertainment District.
Entertainment District, yeah. So when they went in there and it was like a harem or whatever, the lady who was
Yeah,
the demon who was the head of the harem, her when they
yeah,
had to like kind of it was just a big fight. It was like him and then all of the trainees basically. You know what I'm saying? And they was getting whooped. And Cuz came in there and he was letting everything have it. And everybody walked out of there alive, but
Yeah.
barely. That was a good fight too. So I got to put that up there. Uh, One Piece had a couple. When you finished Kaido's fight, that fight was just amazing. I got to add that, even though that's brand spanking new. But I got to add that one on there. Him fighting Kaido. But the best one out of One Piece that really got me hype about One Piece when he fought Crocodile, bro. Like
Have I seen that?
when he fought Crocodile in Alabasta.
See, I don't think I watched because Alabasta because I'm at Annie's lobby. No, Annie's lobby because I've been watching it on Netflix. Like when I just put something on and then watching the on my my website or whatever. But I think I wasn't Alabasta like before Water 7 and all that.
Yeah, it's before all that.
See, I think I missed it. I must not have been paying attention to it.
Yeah, that was a good fight. It was like I think that I was so hyped when I seen that fight. One, because he wasn't supposed to beat Crocodile, bro. He pulled it out. He
I'm gonna have
figured
to
it
go
out,
back
bro.
and make sure.
He figured it out when he beat Crocodile. I was like, all right, Luffy, you got it, bro. I was like, you got my man's got it. So yeah, you got to go back and watch that, bro. I don't even want to spoil that fight for you, but the way he figured out how to beat him, I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
Luffy, my dude.
that's the one thing I liked about One Piece is he just be pulling out them dubs on some like on some Naruto type shit.
Yeah, he be pulling them out. I liked it is one part in that show too where Luffy and Zoro is gonna test themselves against each other, but it ain't that long of a fight. But man,
Right.
if they ever do that, it's gonna be great, bro.
Just like with
They basically broke even, but it was a good fight though.
right. Kind of like with Usopp versus Luffy, because Usopp was working. He was giving him that work, boy. He was
He was
ready for
trying.
him.
He was trying.
I ain't gonna lie. I think he could have beat him though, unless
Yeah,
Luffy was just taking it easy on him.
I think Luffy had sympathy for him, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
He
Usopp
did get a
had some.
couple.
He got some stuff. He got some stuff in there. I ain't gonna lie. But if Luffy turned up on him, it would have been over with.
Right, right.
It would have been over with.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
like I'm gonna say this for everybody watching. Like we ain't one of those. Like you know how some people be doing oh well Goku he could beat this such just because he got Super Saiyan 4 and da, da, da. Like those are just you just talking yourself in circles at that point. Because if you
Yeah,
want
for
to break
sure.
it, yeah, because you want to break it down to the nitty gritty, like we said, then we discussed it last episode where like, okay, you want to pit this person against this person, but whose universe rules are you using? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
facts.
Like, so to sit there and be like, oh well, like how we just talking about Luffy versus Usopp, and then be like, well, what about the the current Usopp versus Luffy back then? Like you don't know what you know what I'm saying, like the type of person that Luffy is. Like I said, he could be a beast from the jump, and at the beginning of the series he was just playing around. Like he could have been just playing with Usopp back then, but to sit there, because like you said, if Luffy was serious with him, he could have probably just smoked him in a couple seconds. You know what I'm
Yeah, facts.
saying? You know what I'm saying? So I don't like doing that type of stuff, like going back and forth. Like, what about uh uh the Great Ninja World 4 Naruto versus Chunin exam Gara, like bro, like get on somewhere, bro. Like that's like
Facts.
that's stupid,
Yeah.
bro. It's a
I think
waste of
when you
breath.
talk, I think when you talk about that kind of stuff, like it's like one of those things, like who will beat who 92 Jordan or
Yeah.
2010 versus 2010 Kobe,
Now
like
I do that
like
with
that.
sports though. I
Yeah,
do
I
that
mean,
with
yeah,
sports.
you can do that with sports, but I think when we talking about it's a fun conversation in that manner. The difference I think between sports and when you talking about debates is like again, like you said, like what rules is we using? Because
Right.
because if Luffy jump over to to Dragon Ball Z universe, and he can't
Right.
use nothing. He can't use nothing. He done. Like
Yeah. What is he doing there?
yeah, he done. Like, but
Right.
if he if Goku jump over to One Piece, he ain't got no hockey, bro. Like, yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
He
You know
can't
what I'm
do that.
saying?
So
Like, what? It's just
all
like, come
things
on,
being
man.
equal, like if you just want to shoot the shit and talk about it, like all right, you know what I'm saying? Like if everybody's universe just collide, that's a little bit different.
Yeah. Kind of like
But
that Shonen Jump Force game or whatever.
yeah, exactly. But at the same time, still like
Yeah, I'm not about to argue with nobody over because it's just like it's an absurd thing to do. Like just be like, oh, what about we gonna throw Levi and motherfucking Jujutsu Kaisen and see what he do? He ain't gonna do shit. Like what is he gonna do?
get squashed like a fly.
Yeah, he gonna be flying around with his 3D maneuver gear and that's about it. See?
Running away and
Yeah, I mean
probably
he gonna try to fight, but I'm just saying like he definitely
hey,
gonna want to fight, but it's like
that
like
yeah, that's wild. But yeah, you're right about that though. I can't even lie, bro. Like yeah, like I said, it's fun. Like, when I hear people talk about it too, I kind of be like, all right, but like what if I jump in, I'm like on some goofy stuff. But can he beat
yeah,
Goku though? And then I'm out.
right. Like Superman versus Goku. Come on, bro. Like then you got to get which Goku you talking about, which Superman you talking about. You know what powers can they use and what they can't do. It's like you have to do some shit like okay, like how like um Swag Kage do it. Like okay, we just gonna break down, you know what all powers they got. We got to first we have to all agree on that.
Yeah,
Then we're gonna
right.
agree on whether or not, you know what I'm saying, what you know what I'm saying, then that's just gonna be like, 'cause no, I want Superman to be Red Sun Superman. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's so many iterations. But
Yeah.
it's just too
And it could
much.
get it, and it could get very exhausting try to explain that stuff to somebody having an argument. So
Yeah,
I just, like you said, I just come in with the but can he be Goku, and then I just dip
right.
when everybody be like, come on, bro. I'll be like, because I don't really care nothing about the argument when they started. I just be like, hey, but can he be Goku? All right, then
Because
I'm
that's
out.
just such a meme at this point. Like, just
Yeah,
eh,
facts.
you spend more time arguing, setting up the fight than the actual fight itself.
Hey, you ain't lying. So yeah, you're right. We are not that type of show, bro. We're not about to sit here and be like, who could be who or what show where to
Yeah,
cross it over. I mean, we did a little bit of that, but of course, we did the work first to see all right, which universes they in. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That kind of stuff. If you're not doing that, you might as well just leave it alone.
yeah.
But
Because if you ain't just
but
gonna give
yeah,
everybody everything, what's the point?
facts.
The
But yeah,
in
man.
universe, yeah. But I'm gonna give an honorable mention though on some of these fights. Uh, Rock Lee versus Gar.
Yeah, Rock Lee versus Gar was a great fight. Oh, we didn't even say Guy's part when he was fighting Kaguya or yeah, Kaguya.
Oh,
I can't
Madara
remember.
versus Guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was him. It was Madara. Yep. I said Kaguya. I'm tripping. She
He
wasn't
probably could
quite
have gave it a work too, but
she wasn't quite there yet.
yeah. But see, my thing about that fight is, I think Madara was just, you know, just fucking around. Cause he basically was like, okay, we about to Taijutsu versus Taijutsu. I ain't really going, you know what I'm saying? I think Madara could have waxed him off jump, but
Yeah,
I think he was like he said he Taijutsu. Okay, I'm about to see what he can do. I'm about to because he knew he couldn't kill him.
facts.
But I think towards the end of the fight, I think it got to the point where like Madara was like, okay, I need to end this fight because dude about to if I keep letting him rev up, it's going to end bad for me.
Yeah, facts. Why he you know what I'm saying, why he sitting there messing around and Guy getting more and more angry. He like, all right, nah, bro.
Because when he
You
start
know,
hitting him with them, he start hitting him with them air blasts. I'm like, oh yeah, he about to just flatten this dude, right?
I, I think the great thought experiment when it comes to like um, seeing these type of animes when you watching those type of fights, it's hard to, like you said, not give everybody everything where they at in the show, right? So like if Guy if like Rock Lee wasn't gonna be able to do nothing with Madara at that time in the show, right? Clearly. So obviously, God, we ain't. You can't, like you said. It's like Rock Lee is people's like one of people's favorite that I talk to. The Rudo characters, bro, is Rock Lee, bro. Rock Lee is my dude. You know what I'm saying? So, but I bet Rock Lee could beat such and such. Like,
See,
yeah, but when and where? But yeah,
yeah,
you're
you
right though. That was
biased
a
at that point. Like, if that's your favorite, of course you gonna want him to win.
yeah. But nah, them fights was cold though. Rock Lee versus Gar was a great fight, and when you said that, that made me think about Guy and Madara.
You didn't even mention. Did you mention? Yeah, you did say Sakura versus Sasori.
Yeah, that fight was just to me to top tier. Like that was one of the best fights in the Naruto universe for me.
For real, I don't know. And then her versus the Shin clones and
Oh
Boruto.
yeah, yeah, she went in on them.
They slept on her, bro. Like that, people sleep on her a lot.
I think initially it's because her character was just so trash in the beginning to me. Like she just cried and
Yeah,
needed help and all that. And then when she finally met Tsunade and got the training in, it was over. Like I mean, she still did a
yeah,
little bit of whining, but it wasn't like she was helpless or nothing.
right. I mean, and there's so many fights you could pick out from Naruto, like and Shippuden, like when they fought the Sound Four, that whole
Yeah,
arc. You know what I'm saying? Rock Lee versus Kamimuro. You know what I'm saying? And
or
Gar
or
versus
in
Kamimuro.
or in the first one when it was Zabuza and against Sasuke
Yeah.
and Naruto, that fight was crazy. Itachi and Sasuke, that's one of my favorite fights all the time. I don't even know why I
Right.
didn't say that.
Like I said, you could just keep going like and then let's see up Naruto versus well Naruto and Tsunade and uh Orochimaru and all them was fighting. And then
Oh yeah.
Naruto hit what's the dude's name with the glasses?
Uh, dang, I can't even think of his name. It start with a K though, don't it?
Kabuto hit him with that
Yeah,
Rasengan.
yeah,
Like
yep.
that fight. You
Yeah,
know
that
what I'm
fight was
saying? Like
crazy too.
shit. Killer B versus Sasuke.
Oh yeah, Killer B. That Killer B when he was fighting, bro, when he first came into the show, he had that little quirky attitude with him or whatever. But when he got down to business, he was getting down to business, bro.
I don't think he was playing that whole time. I think he was just like, I'm about to just let me go ahead and just show this dude where he at and compare. Because I think he really could have. He had that fight in the bag from the jump. Like he didn't give Sasuke no room to breathe.
Nah.
He wasn't playing with him. Like he was talking all this yin yang, but he was like, I'm about to school you, son. Like if it wasn't for um the rest of them, what was dude's name? Jigen, I think is his name Jigen. Jugo, the one for Jugo.
Jugo.
He'd have been Sasuke wouldn't have made it out that fight alive.
Nah, he was done.
he was
Nah,
he
he
was
was done.
done. That's what I'm saying. Like he was like, yeah, I'm about to dog walk these kids real quick, without even really using the motherfucking Jinchuriki powers.
Yep. The other fight with when I can't even think of it. It's the Mizukage, the old man.
The
I can't even think of what it's or
the old
Tsuchikage.
short dude, yeah, Tsuchikage.
Yeah, man. When he was when they had the fight, when he got into the action, bro. Like I can't even think of who he was fighting. I think he was fighting the previous Tsuchikage.
Yeah, the one with the bandages.
Yeah, bro. That fight right there too was cold because then they had
Right.
the Kazekage and all that, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all them came or whatever. Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, this is top notch right here too.
Bro,
But
that particle dismantling, that's one of the coldest abilities in that whole series. And I'm so salty that don't nobody else got it.
man, yeah. I mean, sure. Maybe they'll bring it along because his granddaughter can't use it either, can she? I don't even
No.
think she. What does she even do? I can't remember what she even does. Like, I know she can fight, but I just don't know what she could do. Like,
I'm about to check it out. See what let's see here.
you know who I wish they would have did justice on a little bit more was Shisui, Tachi's best friend.
Man,
It was so much potential with that one, bruh. I
They
mean, it
straight.
did the story justice, but they got him. They ain't even let him get see no shine.
You're right, they ain't get him nothing. I'm like, they hyped him up. They even said Sasuke's them dad was cold. They
Yeah,
said he was
see,
up there with Minato.
yeah, so we couldn't even. We ain't getting to
Yeah,
see
her
none of
name
that.
Korosuchi. That's her name. Let's see what her abilities is. We about to see. Let's see what she got.
Oh, the third Hokage's fight too against
Oh
Orochimaru was
yeah,
cold too. They
yeah.
didn't even say that. Like, yeah, that's just off
uh,
Naruto, people. Like, that's just off Naruto.
Konohamaru versus Jugo and Boruto.
Oh yeah,
Say that
yeah,
one to bang.
that was
And like,
definitely a banger.
and then the kids, what's their name, Sarada and all them versus what's that dude Boro? When she hit him with
Oh,
that Chidori.
the big,
Yeah, big swole dude.
yeah, yeah. Hey, that one fight was cold too. Yeah, that fight was
Hey,
cold too.
hey, that they hit they knew what they was doing. Let's see here with Kurasuchi. She can use earth, fire, water release.
I think
She
the
can
only
use
thing I ever seen her do was put a wall up or something.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like she can do lava. Nope, they don't say nothing about her using particle dismantling. Because I
That's
think for that,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
'cause- exactly. So earth and fire, you can use lava. Water, you can't really do shit with that because you need. But see, she should be able to do what's her name then? The wood, because she got water and earth.
Yeah, she
So
should
shit,
be
that
able to.
yeah. So I don't. Let's see, that it's the part that be killing me.
Maybe she just
Like
ain't got the abilities yet. Maybe she ain't learned it yet.
man, I need to see it again because
I know, man,
that.
because they supposed to pass it down from tribe to they tribe got all of the same. I mean, of course, when they mix and match, they get a little bit of different abilities, but they be like Baruto. They trying to teach him or try to get him to see if he had the Baku or
The Bakugan.
yeah, because when he got the Jigan, he was trying to explain it to him, and they thought he had it. Like, nah, he ain't
He-
got no Byakugan, bro.
but his sister got it though.
Yeah, she ain't gonna be nothing to be played with either later on down the line.
Right. But and I'm gonna touch on that about his daughter. What's her name? Himawari
Yeah,
on Reddit in the Boruto sub Reddit. Don't go on there, bro, because them niggas is weird in there. I'll be honest with you. Them motherfuckers in there is weird. All they care about is who need to be with who and all this other stuff. They be thinking about the weirdest stuff like, oh, Sasuke should have married Ten and da da da. This what they making little creepy ass fan drawings like,
yeah,
oh, this what they
nah.
kids would have looked like. And I just be looking like, but then the thing I don't like about it is they be trying to put like Kawaki and Himawari talking about they should have been together. I'm like, first of all,
She is a kid.
she like 12 years old, if
Yeah,
that.
like I think she was. I think the last time I watched, I ain't that far behind, but I'm a little bit behind. I think she was like 10.
Exactly. That's the first thing.
Man's is 16, 17
Thank
years
you.
old. Heck
Thank you.
nah.
They
Yeah,
had this one dude drew a picture of them in wedding attire, talking about they. I'm like, man, y'all are some weirdos. Bro. I don't like that. That's why I don't like them. Anything like them love stories and stuff like that, or ones that's completely about romance and that slice of life stuff. Because that stuff get the people getting to that weird stuff, and you get too deep in the woods on that, you jump down that
yeah,
rabbit hole, you gonna see some stuff that you be borderline want to call the police.
yeah, nah. I'm gonna stick to what I know. I'm definitely gonna stay off of there. We do not support
Right.
that on this program.
At all.
Yeah, no, that's
Shoot.
definitely weird. But I think I don't know, man. I think it's a lot of potential. I think for Naruto, well, Boruto now to continue with that with the fights that they the quality of fights that they have had on the show.
Right.
Yeah. So I just hope that I hope that they can keep that going for the whole entirety of this iteration of it anyway.
I'm praying. I'm praying that they fix it because they fillers was ugh,
Yeah, they got a lot of fillers on it. I mean, I
the
stopped
fillers.
watching it
Ugh.
now because I got to a point where it was like two. It was like two fillers. I think it had to be like 10 or so episodes ago. It was like fillers where they was trying to find somebody's killer who was killing people or marking them up with the knives on there, and they thought
I
it
see.
was the chef. It was
I ain't watching no filler, bro.
Yeah, it was like they thought it was the chef. See, the only thing about some of them is they give you a little bit of something in the show. So like after the whole show was over, like towards the end, then they broached the subject of like what the information was about. So I was like, oh, you figured that out. But I had to watch these two fillers to figure it out.
Right, right.
So
I
I am
mean,
trying to get. I am probably gonna get to the point where I'm gonna just probably just Google it. But
yeah, that's what I do. Like I look it up and then okay, so they got these fillers. Like okay, let's start like at the beginning of Bruto when after I think it was before or after the tuning exam, and then next thing you know they do this whole thing uh where Chocho was the main character of the film when they was at the movie theater, not the movie at the movie making when they was making that movie, and she
oh
had
yeah,
did the stuff to make herself look thin because she thought it was all. But I ain't trying to see that. You know what I'm saying? I get it, but I'm not watching that, bro.
I ain't gonna
Like
lie, bro. I'm not
skip.
gonna lie. Those episodes are definitely skippable.
Yeah.
Or the
I
one where they
mean,
had to deliver, or the ones where they had to deliver the mail.
yeah, like I mean, I watched that, but only because I had nothing else to do. But yeah, it was just like skip. You know what I'm saying? Like at least like in between, like when Naruto first ended, and then they had that big stretch before Shippuden came out, and they had all them fillers. Okay, these are fillers. We just gonna do whatever the hell we want. We about to at least there's gonna be some fights in there, a little bit like you said, character development. But I'm
Yeah,
not watching something about body image. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Which
I
you know
feel
already
you.
know how that's gonna end. You already know how
It,
that's going.
yeah,
It's
I ain't
like
gonna lie. You right about that. I watched them. I watched them. I ain't gonna lie, but yeah, like I said, I'm getting to the point where it's like. So I used to read the mangas too. I gotta stop. I say that
right,
I used to be caught up with the manga, and so it really wasn't a need for me to watch the fillers at that point because it's like, all right, now this episode is going to be about this. I still like to see, you know what I'm
right.
saying, how to act again, how the action play out or whatever. But you know what I'm saying. If you reading the manga, it's a little bit easier for me to skip them
Right,
episodes.
right,
But
right.
I just watch it
Yeah.
through. I try to watch them through. But you're right though. Those two episodes was a little hard to watch. I think it was I think it was two or three episodes. Them
Nah, it
was
was
hard to watch.
man, I couldn't do it. And that whole thing where Kawaki went to the Ninja Academy, skip, because they ain't even there wasn't no payoff at the end of it. Like
That
even
one
after
was
all
no
that,
That one was
yeah,
no payoff. And maybe down the road, maybe he gonna be a friend. She gonna bring him back or something. Who knows, bro? But yeah, bro. Like that was just them in the dark. It not in the dark, but in that little play or whatever. And then they went up there,
yeah.
and
That's
the
what I'm saying.
dude was
Like,
hiding in the classroom in the dark. Like, all right,
and like they could have just took some ideas from the audience. It's like, okay, we got to do this fillers here in a couple months. What y'all think should happen? Like, yeah, I got some better ideas than that because that don't even because that's not even a canon story. Like even if you keeping up with the manga now, they don't even mention whether or not Kawaki even joined. He never had a headband. It was never mentioned. It's just some stupid, you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, thing that they just threw in there just to pad that time because they don't, getting too caught up. Um,
yeah,
that the one anime I say, and we could probably talk about just that whole subject period. That did filler right was Bleach.
yeah. Bleach didn't really feel like filler.
Yeah,
To me, it didn't really feel that. Now, of course, it was. It wasn't like a whole bunch of action, but it was like it had something to do with the characters and moving forward though.
Right. Even the stuff that didn't. Like when they had that weird extra captain dude that had that seashell looking sword and all that. That ain't had nothing really to do with the story,
Oh
but
yeah,
they
that's true.
integrated it in there. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff, like the one with the little yeah, the bound arc and all that stuff, and you know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't, like, if they had not said nothing, you wouldn't be able to tell that it was, you wouldn't think it was filler. You just think like,
Right.
oh, this is a new arc, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I'm
Or
like,
at least kicking it off that way. One Piece is the same way. Like every episode of One Piece, with the exception of when they did the crossover that I told you about, where they had the food dude on there.
yeah,
They said, with the exception of that, it was even One Piece's fillers don't feel like filler. Like if it seems like it always has something to do later on down the road.
yeah. But you can't
Because
really do that with One Piece because you're gonna miss something.
yeah, facts. Same because just like the Davy Back games, you know what I mean? Like Davy Back games was just, to me, it seemed like it was fun, like
Yeah,
them having fun with the show. But then later on down the road, you see him the dude again. Like he ended up helping him a little bit, you know what I'm saying, just for a brief moment. But it was still like, all right, so at least that they used this particular moment in time,
right.
later on down the road, so it made sense. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I know I might sound a little bit like I'm a hard ass or selfish or whatever, but that's just how I am. Like I'm spending my time watching this stuff. Like you said, like if we're gonna do filler, at least do something that's entertaining. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't nothing against body image or whatever like that. It was just like for them to do that, or that's filler with Chocho. It was like that was a waste of her time. You could have did like a training arc or something with her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not, oh, it's this movie character dude. I want to look good for him. Let me make myself look thin. And then at the end of the day, I learned that it doesn't matter what you look like. Okay, we know that already. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I guess that's just me because I know that these
yeah,
shows, a lot of them is geared towards a younger crowd because there really ain't much for people like our age in the anime
yeah.
world. Like, and
I'm gonna say yes and no on that one because I think when you play to your like Naruto was started with us, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
yeah, they're gonna try to gear it towards younger people, but I think to abandon your fan base, which I think Naruto has done a good job of not doing because they just progressed the story that we watched so we could continue with it. You know what I mean? Just like One Piece. I think that they just probably realized like, oh, we got a lot of women, you know what I'm saying, watching our show
yeah,
too. Let's drop something in for the women, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what that was about. Like, cause Naruto
yeah,
did that before too, with when Sakura and Ino was trying to they going back and forth, and they ended up going shopping and all that, and trying to squash whatever they had going on in Shippuden. It's like they do it from time to time, which is cool, but it's like it's just not what we enjoy. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's what they was doing. I don't know.
yeah. I'm thinking maybe they hit the brakes a little bit too hard on the momentum. Like, let's say, like you get something like, um, okay, let's say One Piece. You said he just got finished fighting Kaido, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you done watched that. You done seen Gear 5. You up here right now,
Mm-hmm.
hype.
All right.
Then they like, okay, so we just did that. We about to take a break. We about to chill down some. And then the next episode is Nico and Nami shopping, trying to find this
Yeah. Facts.
particular dress. You know what I'm saying? Like, which, you feel me?
Yeah, I feel you. I definitely feel you. Yeah, it
Yeah, and
definitely
that's why I
could.
say, like, that's why I say Bleach. Bleach is the perfect 10 in the anime. Like, what they did not slip not once, even though it ain't a lot of
Yeah.
people's favorite. Like, if you look at the bones of it and really dig into the meat and potatoes, Bleach didn't slow down at all. Like, they had like slowish episodes, but like I say, even the filler was banger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like every single the music was banging. Every single opening and ending, like, cause I'm one of them people. I'm one of them opening and ending song people. Like, I like the intros and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bleach, every single last one of them was yeah. I wouldn't. You know how some of you watch it. Okay, that's cool. The next you watch next episode, you skipping the intro. Like Bleach, I didn't never do that. I'm watching it every second of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, and they
Yeah.
filler was, you know what I'm saying, was pretty decent. All they fillers was good. Like, you know what I mean? But like I said, that example of like, okay, the Kaido fight, Gear 5, and now freaking um Usopp and Chopper trying to find this rare bunny in the forest because they need you know what I'm saying, they need his they need his poop to make medicine or something like that.
Hey, but the crazy thing is you know how it's gonna come back when they come back. It's gonna come back. They go celebrate and all that. You know what I'm saying? They gonna have celebration
Yeah.
episodes. But you're right though. They not going. I mean, and I don't know. Maybe they will, because they have some episodes too that be a little like, all right, man. Like, come on, One Piece. Let's move it along. But like I said,
But
I didn't have a need to watch them make food. Like, I was just like, all
yeah.
right.
But if it's
But
funny
yeah,
or something like that, it's entertaining, it's cool. But if it's something
yeah,
that you
yeah.
just gonna instantly just be like, it's like that I'm salty at you. You know what I mean? But that's like I said, that's just me being an asshole about it. But I can't help it because I don't have all day to sit here and watch it every single day. If I'm gonna watch something, it's gonna either progress the story or entertain me, or it better have a banging ass fight.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, we can agree on that too, man. Because I'm not gonna lie, I think the older that that we get, I just it's a little bit less patience with those type of episodes. And not only for us though, I think if you look in like the comments on some of those episodes, like I had like when I watched it on Crunchyroll and I look in the episode, it's filler. Oh my god, here we go. You know what I'm saying? You see people in there like, oh, come on. Why do I need an episode about this? Now, I will say, repeat what I said before, too, though. There are some episodes of certain shows, like it's filler episodes, but they mean something. And if they mean something or go
Yeah,
along with the story, then cool. But if not, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of where it messed me up at. Like if it's just in the middle random, I'm like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
yeah.
like what's we
It's
doing?
like
Like,
it's like the Boruto subreddit. The same thing. The big thing that they always complain about on there is the anime versus the manga, which is canon and which isn't. Like, oh, I want this person should be canon because I like him, even though he's in the anime but not the manga. Like I'm sitting here like I don't care. Like you got to be able to
yeah,
separate the two. You know what I'm saying? Because there
yeah.
are going to be differences. There's a whole bunch of characters in the anime that's not even, or you might see them in the background, or they might have a line or two in the manga, but they don't show them that much. But yeah, that's the thing about it. The anime got more to work with, so they can expand that person. If you want to say, okay, well, here goes this person, even though he's not prominent in the manga, I'm gonna say he's a canon character. Okay, cool, but he's not gonna get the spotlight.
No,
And they
when
really be
that's
arguing
the
over that
difference
shit.
between books and movies, though. You know what I'm saying? You might
Exactly.
read a book. The book might tell you a more detail, and for than a movie because the time compression. Now, if they make the show might be a little closer to the book. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Vice versa. But manga is more similar to comics. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna be 20 pages. He walked into the room and said silently under his breath after he puffed a cigarette and blew the smoke in a circle. Like that's the book. That's a book. You know what I'm saying? When you read the manga, it's pow blam. Let's fight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just simplifying it. But you know what I'm saying? Like for instance, one of my favorite moments in anime, it was the manga when I was reading Shippuden and Obito came back and they told the backstory from Obito and how he helped Madara and all of that stuff. That part was just sweet. Speaking of which, that was a great fight too. Obito,
Yeah.
Kakashi and Obito. That all right. I got to put that one above soccer. I got to put that one above soccer as a story because they was fighting and they was doing the flashbacks in the anime. I'm like, oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
cold. That's cold. But yeah, I got to jump that up there. But what I'm basically saying is that you know what I'm saying you can't with that time compression, the comics or mangas, for instance, is like I said, more similar to comics. You're not going to expand on characters that's not main characters because why? You going to have a filler manga like that? That would just I mean, if you really
Right.
want to make people mad, bro, like go ahead and make a manga with a bunch of fillers, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's supposed to be quick. You know what I'm saying? You read it
Yeah.
quick, you enjoy the art, you get the story, you see the action sequences. You know what I'm saying? And there is manga that is not action packed manga, but they still serve their purpose. They're not gonna bring in
Right.
an extra outside character, somebody brother who's supposed to be walking past the screen on the manga. They ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's just these people. It's like you can tell that these are teenagers trying to talk like they operating in the midst of people that's like our age, like in between 12, 13 years old up to our age, because like that's the different. Not to, I ain't knocking nobody or nothing like that. I'm just saying like back in the day, like you said, like we in the back when Dragon Ball Z out, we younger, we in the playground at school at the park or with our homies, like, bro, Goku, this, that, and third, da, 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 da. And we going back and forth, like, yeah, man, because Goku, I think Frieza should have smoked him because da, 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 da. We doing that, but these people nowadays, because we got social media, they really, because such and such a couple people agree with me, I know I'm right. So uh the third Hokage should have been able to smoke Orochimaru, you know what I'm saying, just because these people said it's right and he did this, that, and the third. And I'm like, you, with my different mindset about it, it's like not necessarily. There was an emotional aspect of that fight, you know what I'm saying, that they didn't talk about at the time. Yeah, he was his prior student, but you looking at it as, oh, just because I like him, he should win. Not, yeah, I think he low key took it easy on him again when he should have just smoked him off top. When you looking at, the stakes that, that they had at that moment. Okay, that's my old student, Orochimaru, this, that, and the third. But he thinking more of, oh, that's my former student. I love him. I don't want to kill him. Versus if I don't take this dude out, it's gonna be some trouble. But these other people, they just look at it as, and some older people still have that same kind of mindset, like, oh, I like this guy, so he should be able to smoke everybody. With that whole, can he beat Goku? Okay, yeah, just because Goku that guy doesn't mean he should be able to just dog walk everybody. Like, because I honestly, and I'm just hypothetically speaking, if you was to put Goku, let's say whichever, like let's say Dragon Ball Super Goku, he got um Ultra Instinct and all that stuff, whatever, whatever. Put him in an arena with Gear 5 level Luffy. Who you think gonna win? Just put him in there and say fight.
Right.
It's like, here go this guy, here this that fight. What you think gonna happen? Oh well, cause Goku did this and he did that. He gonna smoke Luffy. Okay, he don't know Luffy. He don't know how he fight. I
Facts.
think like if you just throw him in a room and say fight, I think Luffy will win.
It's hard. It's gonna be hard to beat Gear 5 Luffy anyway, just because he can change the environment. But he can change the environment, and it's one part in there where Kaido he do the fire blast or whatever too. Like he can shoot energy and all that stuff, fire and energy, and he was deflecting that with the ground, like pulling up the rubber off the ground, like. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be hard. I ain't saying he can't win, but you know what I'm saying? That's what we was talking about before when you said it's kind of hard to speculate
Yeah,
from different universes. I will say this too about the Orochimaru fight uh, with the third Hokage or whatever. Man, I'm getting stumbled up here because I was trying to think of his name, but Hiruzen. But I think that's his name.
yeah,
The important thing about that fight is that not only did he have an emotional aspect, but if they would have let Hiruzen beat Orochimaru, it would have totally negated all of the genius that they was talking about Orochimaru. Orochimaru was taking all of the jutsus and messing with them and doing all type of stuff, trying to get Hashirama's cells and cultivating them and all of that stuff. If Hiruzen would have beat him, the whole show would have been a lie. There would have been a lie because how he genius he can't after all these years he
yeah.
can't beat his master. His master
He
old
ain't
like
even beat him though.
his master ain't seen
Orochimaru
no
didn't beat him.
action. No, he didn't, but he got out alive. Hiruzen gave up his life so that Orochimaru couldn't use his arms for a couple episodes. Like,
But
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
There was the Orochimaru did not win that fight. He, like you said, he got out alive. That
yeah, he
was
got out.
about
He
it.
got out of. You are right. So yeah, change my words. You right. He did. He definitely got out alive. But however, if he would have died, the whole show would have been a lie. Like, because we wouldn't have seen him get out of it. We wouldn't have seen Mitsuki and Baruto. We wouldn't have been able to see uh Sasuke's complete, you know what I'm saying, complete transformation from what he was then seeking power till now after he, him and Naruto fought. Wouldn't have been able to see none of that. So the whole show would have been doing what? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why
I
people
mean,
gotta that's why people gotta stop that type of stuff. Cause yeah, I was in he could have probably beat him, but he didn't, he couldn't. He couldn't because it would have made the story would have made no sense.
yeah.
It would have
I
made
mean,
no
that's
absolutely no sense.
I don't know, cause like it was so much stuff at that because it was such at the beginning of the whole series. That was like one of the first major things that happened. Is after you know they first mission with Kakashi and they fought Haku and Zabuza and all that, which that was, what I'm saying, that was a great way to, if you're gonna start a series like that, that's definitely how you start off, make the first arc a banger like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
facts.
And then you got that right after. I don't know, it's like I think the way they did it was okay. The way they ended, like, cause I'm thinking like you said, like he can't just smoke him right here because it seems like it's a long term villain. This ain't just some random, you know, monster of the week bad guy. Because the setup, it was too delicious. The way they set that whole scheme up. Oh, I done took over the Sand Village, and I'm pretending to be the fourth, Kazekage, and I'm manipulating them from the background, telling them, yeah, even though y'all been cool these last couple of years, I want y'all to help me take them over. Then left their ass hanging after he got his fade ran. You know what I mean? Because he straight skirted like, I'm out of here. Y'all got, y'all finished this fight. I'm gone. He done tore my arms up. You know what I'm saying? Left them fending for themselves. Like, which I think it was cool because that they kept on bringing it up as the series kept going on. Like later on, oh, we done our ties with the Sand Village that got stronger you know, because of that shit that happened, and then we found out that he was manipulating us, and it wasn't nothing. We didn't do it because we hated y'all. We did it because we was told to do it by who obviously wasn't our leader. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I do kind of agree with you, but like I said, I like the way they did it, but they couldn't just like you said, they couldn't just have like, oh, this dude, I'm about to just smoke him real quick and just stomp him down. But the setup was just it was too nice. You know what I'm saying? They had the
Yeah.
Ambu in there, and then the Sound 4, they kind of like teased them a little bit when they set up that barrier. You know what I'm saying? It was just like it was cool. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't complaining. I wanted to see. Only thing I regret is, or the thing I didn't like was I wanted to see what would have happened with Sasuke and Gar.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
finish that fight.
Yeah, that fight would have been if we would have got to see it finished. That would have been great. But yeah, you never know that we ain't gonna never see that now. But,
It's right. I mean,
but yeah, they had an
yeah,
opportunity there, but they did what they had to do with it. It was still turned out good. I think another thing too is that those subreddits when they bring up that type of stuff, they don't really think that deeply. Like we just went and dove into it. Like the branches of Orochimaru, for instance, like even in Boruto when you find out that Mitsuki keeps they well yeah you got there already
oh, yeah.
but when he I can't remember if is it Mitsuki the older one too the first one
The older one,
the older one I can't think of his
his name
name.
is
He looked
Log.
like yeah so he was telling him like he gonna remember again or whatever talking about Baruto. He's just telling him stay close to Baruto, telling Mitsuki to stay close to Baruto, and telling him to watch him, like watch him or whatever, make sure he don't trying to say he gonna remember again. Basically, like it's an experiment with him staying close to Baruto from maybe becoming something that he wasn't supposed to become, right? Or yeah, basically. But you also figured out that he gave him Sage Jutsu too, so it's
Right.
like so it's like if if Orochimaru was gone at that point, bro, none of this happens, bro. Like, what does Sosuke do? What does Sosuke do? Sosuke would have not been able to touch with the battle with Naruto if he never learned the powers of Orochimaru. Like, Orochimaru helped him get strong, bro. Like,
I mean, he would have been training with Kakashi. To be honest with you,
yeah, but then would he had ever been evil though? Like, would he had ever been evil?
I mean, personally, I would have liked him to not be evil, but I mean, I like the way he dressed. He was with Orochimaru.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
cool.
yeah, facts. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think the subreddits go a little bit too far with that kind of stuff. They don't think about the as you would say the meat and potatoes. They just thinking about they don't even they're not even looking at the plate at all. They just like, well, I want a new
They just
plate.
care about what they want it to be, like what they think it should have
Yeah,
went, and think that's the truth and that's the final answer. And if you disagree with me, because these couple people, like it's a saying somebody had a couple months ago. Just because a couple people agree with you, don't mean you right.
yeah, facts. Because they can be yes man for one. They might not agree with you. They might just be telling you. But even if they do agree with you, that don't mean all they all hate goofy.
Yeah, and they be taking it, they be really be taking it far, but they be insulting each other and everything. I
Yeah,
be like, boy,
I'll be having to stay off of the stuff like that or whatever, just because that's a mental exercise I ain't even willing to do.
it's like I'm about
But
to go in there now and see what they complaining about this at this point in time.
yeah, but that was an interesting thought experiment, man. I think that it's important for people listening or whatever when you find animes that you like. You know what I'm saying? You could find other animes that you like that had the same formula as same formula that you're looking for, and find newer animes, and maybe they branch off a little bit, help you get into other ones. Like I told you, one of the first animes I seen was The Legend of the Toro. Like, that has nothing to do with fighting Dragon
Right,
Ball Z, none of that. You feel me? So from there, Slumberland or whatever it's called. I can't even remember that one. Nemo's Night in Slumberland. I think that's what it's called.
what? What is that?
They're like old school animes about. It's like kind of like a. I don't know. I can't. It's hard to compare it to another show because it's not really comparable. I got to see what it's called though. It's like Nemo's Night in Slumberland or something like that. It's kind of like a
Right,
Peter
right,
Peter Panish, slightly kind of show or whatever. Alice in
right.
Wonderland hybrid or something. But anyway, and then that
See,
brought me to more adventure animes, and then you see that I like the art style, fighting and stuff. So it don't matter what. I mean, it matter what you watch. Don't be watching
right.
no weird stuff. But
Well, the only reason I brought that up is just like watch the community or the people that you surround yourself with when you talking, and it's just just in other aspects of your life. Just watch the community that you get into, because like you just said, like you don't want to get sucked into some some shit, some weird ass shit, or be sitting there stressing over something that don't need to be stressed about. Like
yeah,
you can discuss it and disagree with your people, and and y'all can go back and forth and say, oh no, I don't like this, or I think he could be him, but don't take it to the try not to take it to the level that these people be taking to, because they just be off the wall with it. Like they
yeah,
just,
facts.
and then when somebody call them out on it, they get even madder. No, because this one low key went viral on Reddit. It was popular, so it's the truth, and I'm gonna keep on doing it. It's like you don't have to do that though. You don't have to take it that far. You feel me?
Yeah, facts. And the name of that anime Japanese movie was Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland. That's what it was about him going to about a nightmare that the kid was having. But but anyway,
Okay.
so I just wanted to fix that right now because I ain't about to bring that up next show. But but yeah, you're right, man. You're right, man. All of that BS that people be going through, we gonna steer away from that here. In terms of, you're not gonna hear none of that speculation from us because we just gonna stick with the show how it was written. Now,
Right.
if it's a fight or something that we want to see, of course we're gonna talk about that. But or something that we speculating on in the future of a show, like if we follow on a show, episode by episode, then maybe we'll be like, man, what's going on? What you think gonna happen next? I think this gonna happen. But
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, you know what?
relationship status is nah.
Right. I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah,
Don't
like
really
all
care.
right, like all
Like,
right, cool.
I don't care who banging who, or if Naruto use shadow clone, the gang bang, Hinata or nothing like that. I don't care about that shit, bro.
I will tell you the
But
interesting thing about that when it comes to Naruto is that once you figure out who the kids are, like him or Rory or whatever, then you wonder like what their powers are. That's the extent for me, like what abilities they
right,
would have. Like
yeah.
I'm not thinking about nothing
How
else.
much of a banger is they fight gonna be? That's all I don't care.
Yeah, like yeah, facts.
But
But anyway, go ahead, my bad.
it was a fight that I forgot to mention. The tuning exams on Baruto. What was the kid's name? Dinky versus Subaki.
Oh yeah, Dinky was cold with it. I ain't gonna lie. That was a cold fight too. Yeah, yeah,
Oh man. And then I'm just getting my notes because I got a couple things I want to put on the next episode. 'Cause I know we probably were almost 2 hours now.
yeah. Hour 45 minutes. Did you want to go into the next topic, or do you want to save that for the next
I
show?
want to save it because I know we got stuff to do. But
Okay,
I'm gonna
cool, cool.
just write these. Or we can discuss it after the show. But I want to save it until the end.
Yeah, facts, facts, facts. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, man. So I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up at the 1 hour and 45 minute mark. Anything else you want to touch on real quick before we get up out of here?
Nah, I just want to, just reiterate, like I said, just be aware and mindful of like in anything, video games, sports, just whatever you into, just be mindful of, who you surround yourself with and the type of community that you put yourself in, because whether you aware of it or not, it could have a positive or a negative influence in the rest of your life. Don't let it poison and leak into other aspects of your life is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, facts. Because the even examples you gave or whatever, is pretty telling of where you don't want yourself to be or nobody else that you love to be. So yeah, definitely watch out for that for sure. And again, here you probably won't hear much about that unless we warn you like we did today. So
Right.
that wasn't on the topic list, but I appreciate you bringing that up because that's important. So yeah, definitely big ups to you for that because
Yes, yes.
we might bring that up periodically just to let y'all know to
Right, right.
watch yourself. But yeah, so anyway, that's Allegreto. I'm Siege. This has
Yes,
been
sir.
Anime Maniacs. We appreciate y'all for listening. We should have another show for y'all coming soon with more interesting topics where we just two brothers just sitting here kicking it, talking about animes. So we thank
Yep.
y'all for going down the rabbit hole with us. Stay tuned for more information. You can follow us on any of those at the bottom. The link ENT LLC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube is the Link Entertainment LLC. You can also go to the Link Entertainment LLC.com. If there is anything that you want to discuss on this show, you can leave it on any one of those pages. We also have, I did add an email for us too. So it's Anime Maniacs Podcast at Gmail. So y'all can also send us emails about stuff that y'all want to hear or
Right.
discuss. We definitely touch on it, give y'all shouts out too. But we definitely appreciate y'all, and yeah, just stay tuned for more.